Hi, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Today I'm going to be talking about sort of child social media influencers. But before I do that, just wanted to remind you to like and subscribe. I make true crime and commentary content, so if you like that, please join me. Let's get into it. Over the decades, there has been a lot of speculation about the harm done to child actors, specifically in Hollywood, because they are often exposed to things that they aren't mature enough or worldly enough to handle. Just the fact that they're working at such a young age is significant enough. It is pretty much across the board a no-no to have child employees post the Industrial Revolution when child labor laws in the Western world were enacted. Yet there are still small young children who have entire careers and have made millions of dollars before they're even able to legally drive a car or vote. The concerns about the toll of fame and mass public attention put on children is exemplified in the cases of Macaulay Culkin and Lindsay Lohan, who were both child stars who experienced a lot of pain and trauma as adults because of their child stardom. Of course, there are now currently laws and legislation in relation to child actors which make sure to prioritize their education and restrict how long and how they can work, though there are still many flaws to that system. Then, with the start of the 21st century and the discovery / widespread availability of the internet, came social media celebrities and influencers. Amongst these famous influencers are children who have amassed millions of followers and major public scrutiny. The fame and attention these sort of young children who are on social media deal with make me uncomfortable, and I am often concerned for their well-being and their mental health. It is also so easy for them to be exploited in a career path like internet stardom and being an influencer, and I think they often are exploited by parents or other adults in the industry. Additionally, they face public scrutiny for literally every decision they make. There are videos online of grown adults criticizing their behaviors or their personal life. I'm not referring here to things that maybe should be called out or corrected, like teachable moments, like if they're involved in racism, hate speech, etc. I'm more so referring to videos that talk about or criticize these children for their personal lives, like their personal relationships or who they date. Since it's such a relatively new phenomenon and enacting new legislation is such a slow, snail process, there are virtually no laws or legislation protecting these minors in their social stardom. I have talked briefly about this issue before, but it was more in relation to family vloggers and them, in my opinion, exploiting their babies. But today I want to talk about some of the internet's current older, biggest influencers, but who are also children. Just a disclaimer, I'm no way blaming them for their circumstances. I'm just criticizing or shifting more blame onto their parents or legal guardians, the adult owners of the platforms that they exist on, and the small percentage of adults content creators who harass or try to pry into the personal lives of these minors. I usually don't like inserting pictures or videos of minors because I don't like the fact that there are children who are so exposed to the public and are public stars, and I don't want to put their likeness in my videos, but for the purpose of this video, these children that I'm talking about are public figures, so there particular image is out there whether I like it or not. So in some cases, I'm going to be inserting relevant images or videos. So I'm going to begin with, in my opinion, the least egregious case of child internet stardom that I'm talking about in this video, because she is sort of the least talked about / the least controversial on the list. She hasn't been involved in like many troublesome antics and stuff. So I'm starting off with the young YouTuber who goes by the channel name Life with MaK. Her real name is McKenna, and she started her mostly ASMR YouTube channel when she was only 12 years old in late 2017. She is currently 15 years old. She garnered mass media attention after a few clips from her ASMR channel when became viral and became sort of viral memes, including a video of her eating honeycomb. She was very funny and entertaining at the time, so obviously she garnered a pretty massive following and currently has over 1.6 million subscribers on her channel. Around June 2019, McKenna took a brief break from posting on her YouTube channel, supposedly in protest to YouTube removing several of her YouTube videos for inappropriate content. Keep in mind, she's like maybe around 13 years old or 14 years old at the time. One of the videos that was removed was the viral video of her eating honeycomb, which was apparently removed by YouTube because they were concerned that her actions eating honeycomb could be perceived as sexual. Essentially, the videos of her eating food that could be considered phallic or like they resembled adult body fluids were being flagged and removed by YouTube. Around this time, YouTube had been getting a lot of well-deserved, in my opinion, criticism for not doing enough to protect their minor creators that existed on their platforms. People had unearthed a shocking amount of videos that were on YouTube and that some that were monetized on YouTube of children featured in vulnerable and questionable scenarios. These videos were deemed highly exploitative and were made to basically have children be placed in pseudosexual acts to cater towards, in my opinion, an audience of pedophiles. I just combined predators and pedophiles. Cater towards an audience of pedophiles. YouTube around this time changed their community guidelines to ban content that, quote, endangers the emotional and physical well-being of minors and content that sexually exploits minors. McKenna's videos were being removed by YouTube because of these new, at the time, guidelines. McKenna and her mother, Nicole, protested against these new guidelines, saying that YouTube was discriminating against McKenna because of her age.
YouTube has been treating me like not just a few days ago, but over my whole entire YouTube journey. It makes me feel so angry and sad and just really discriminated against, and I don't appreciate it.
Nicole told BuzzFeed, who interviewed both McKenna and Nicole at the time, quote, "I don't need YouTube to parent my child or protect my child for me. They are not the government. Punish the pedophiles and punish the online cyberbullies, not the creator." I both agree and disagree with this sentiment from McKenna's mother. I never want children to be punished for the actions or behaviors of adults, but I do believe that public platforms and corporations like YouTube should be putting guidelines in place to protect minors if they have minors on their platform. Perhaps they overcorrected by removing McKenna's content, but I do credit YouTube for responding to the issue at hand, which was that people were exploiting young children on their platform. Since then, YouTube has turned off comments on channels that feature minors, which this change I wholeheartedly agree with. I think this action protects minors from inappropriate comments or hate that could be damaging to their well-being or mental health. I think this also prevents potential grooming situations because commenters don't have direct access to creators or to minor creators through comments. Thus, McKenna is a hard case for me because I don't think she's literally done anything wrong on the platform. Her content was pretty appropriate at the time, but I think, in my opinion, it's more important to prioritize child welfare than prioritizing children being allowed to create. She still regularly posts to her ASMR channel, but a lot of content when she was younger has been removed or deleted from her page. She still mostly posts ASMR content, but also mixes in lifestyle content. Next, I'm going to be briefly talking about Miss Charli D'Amelio. She is sort of a step up in concern from McKenna for me, solely based on the amount of publicity and criticism that she receives. She was, though, a little bit older than the other two girls in this video when she started gaining popularity online, so she was around 18. Charli D'Amelio is currently 16 years old, but she had just turned 15 when she started posting TikToks and quickly rose to fame. Since then, she has been involved in two highly publicized sort of occurrences or controversies that I'm going to talk about today. The first being her relationship and respective breakup with fellow TikToker Chase Hudson, aka Little Huddy. I really don't know the nuances or details of their relationship well because I am a little too old to know the details and I am not their target audience demographic. But from what I can find online, it appears that they dated from late 2019 and announced that they had broken up in April 2020. There were rumors of cheating or whatever in their relationship, but I'm not going to delve or draw attention to that because it's not really relevant to what this video is about. I just wanted to highlight the amount of publicity that the young couple got throughout their relationship. Every second Charli spent with him was seemingly documented by the internet, whether it was posted by themselves, people they were friends with or associated with, or fans who spotted them holding hands in a Target. This is probably one of Charli's first relationships. I'm not sure of her history and don't think I should be privy to that information anyways, but I can't imagine the amount of pressure having millions of people sort of tune in and pry into one of your first relationships. By having every private moment examined under a microscope at her age makes me concerned for the toll that amount of attention would put on a young person's mental health. The second instance of controversy Charli was involved in happened only a few months ago, and that was this dinner fiasco thing. In mid-November, the D'Amelio family posted a sort of pilot to their Dinner with the D'Amelios YouTube series that they were starting on their family channel. This video caused huge controversy because viewers didn't like the behavior of both Dixie and Charli, Dixie being Charli's older sister. Dixie isn't really relevant to this because she's an adult, so I'm skipping over her part of the controversy. For Charli's part in the controversy in the video, she made a comment about how she recently celebrated a year or was about to celebrate a year of hitting her first 1 million followers on TikTok. She said how she wished she had more time because she wished she could hit 100 million followers before the 1 year anniversary because it would have been cool for her.
Whoa. In 1 year. If we're thinking about it, okay, how far away is that's Friday? Okay. I wish I had more time. Because imagine if I hit 100 mil a year after hitting a mil.
Was the 95 not enough for you?
Well, I was just saying even numbers.
Well,
she also made a comment do we have dino nuggets while eating a meal that was prepared for the family by a chef? It was said online, or she was criticized for being not grateful for her followers and being insulting or rude to the chef. She got a lot of criticism for this, which resulted in her losing over 1 million followers on TikTok in a matter of hours. She was barraged with hate. She went live on Instagram and cried about the intense online scrutiny she was receiving while explaining the situation.
You cannot like me but not attack the way I look, or the fact that you don't want me here. Like, that's where I kind of draw the line. And honestly, like, seeing how people reacted to this, like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. Like, this is messed up stuff that people are saying. Like, people telling people just like blatantly disrespecting the fact that I'm still a human being is not okay at all. And people making fun of the fact that it's just like, that's not okay. You can hate on me for whatever I've done, but the fact that all of this is happening because a misunderstanding, like, I just feel like that's not okay. And if this is the community that I'm in and the community that I put myself in, I don't know if I want to do that anymore.
To this point, I can't imagine the pressure and the level of publicity and hate that would bring, especially trying to deal with it at 16 years old, then to have like adult influencers adding their critical opinions to the mix, thus bringing even more attention to the controversy. Again, I'm only referring to the group of adult influencers that were talking shit about her, not the creators who were defending her or merely questioning her behavior. To me, this is such a minor issue that was blown out of proportion. Charli didn't deserve that type of a backlash for something so seemingly inconsequential. There are murderers and like abusers in the world that get away with much worse things without the level of scrutiny. I think there's a difference between holding someone accountable for bad behavior versus being cruel and trying to bring someone down. I also do believe that we should be more gentle with minors when they make mistakes or missteps because they are still so young and learning about how they want to navigate the world. In a conclusion, for Charli's section, I am concerned about the amount of fame she has at such a young age, and what this type of mass attention and criticism will have on her mental health in the near and far future. The final young internet star I'm going to be talking about is Danielle Cohn. Danielle first rose to prominence on Musical.ly, which according to the internet, she started posting on in 2015. Her fame was similar to stars like Jacob Sartorius. Both were minors posting semi-explicit dances / lip-syncing videos to millions of followers. I believe they garnered attention somewhat because the content was a little shocking. It's kind of incredibly uncomfortable as an adult to see minors sing or dance to explicit lyrics. And for people around their age, maybe they had crushes on them or wanted to be them, so they were following them. Danielle's content on YouTube and other platforms have always been controversial because of how sort of mature it is or was. She was only around 11 or 12 when she first started gaining traction on Musical.ly. Danielle's age actually has been the topic of a much heated debate online for some reason for what seems like years at this point. The drama is about how Danielle and her mother are lying about her age. The situation got even worse when Danielle's biological father posted this sort of statement on Facebook, which I will put on the screen. You can pause if you want to read it. So he shared that Danny was actually 2 years younger than her and her mother were portraying online. It is said that Danielle and her mother had stated that she was born in 2004, but her father stated that she was actually born in 2006. I believe Danielle and her mother have posted proof that she was actually born in 2004 4, and it's weird to me to speculate about a child's age publicly, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to believe she's currently 16. Her biological father in the statement also said he is uncomfortable with how she presents online, including how she dresses and the content that she creates. I do agree with her father on this point. I think Danielle's mother, in my opinion, noticed that the racier / more shocking the content that Danielle posted to YouTube, the more attention they got, and more attention and more clicks equals more money. Thus, a very young Danielle was posting pretty mature and inappropriate content, such as like bikini try-on hauls and more adult theme pranks, such as cheating pranks or hickey pranks. I don't really blame Danielle for this content, but rather the fact that she was even allowed to post mature theme content to millions of followers. In my opinion, it is incredibly exploitative to allow and profit off of your child posting, in my opinion, age inappropriate content to the internet for an audience of millions, many of which are adults. I know Danielle's mom has taken to her channel to try to like cover this up and say that, you know, she doesn't allow or she doesn't approve of Danielle posting this content online, but I don't personally believe that because the content is still being posted online, and as her mother, you have the sort of responsibility and capacity to prevent her from posting online, which her mother hasn't. Her mother is basically her manager, very supportive of her career. The part that I disagree with in relation to Danielle's biological father posting this on Facebook is him deciding to handle the matter publicly. He decided to share these accusations publicly, knowing this would cause his minor daughter to receive a lot of hate and criticism, which she did. I don't know who is the non-exploitative parent in Danielle's life, and I'm not going to speculate about something so personal, but I think if her parents truly cared about her best interests, they would prioritize her health and safety behind the scenes and not make it a public affair. By Danny's father posting these accusations publicly, she was publicly humiliated. Millions of people were chiming in on how old they believed Danielle was. Probably hundreds upon hundreds of legal adults were posting or sharing their opinions on Danielle's private life online. The public concern about a minor should be her safety, not trying to capitalize off of her drama. I'm just popping in for a voiceover here because in my original script or in the original video that was already edited, I had false information at this part, so when I knew it was false, then I decided to just do a voiceover. So the controversy surrounding Danielle and allegations of bad parenting got even worse in July 2020 when an audio clip was leaked about her mother talking about how she allowed Danielle to actually get an abortion. The audio clip is allegedly from sometime around June 2020. In the clip, Danielle and her mother Jen are having a very heated conversation about their tense relationship. There is a third person in the clip who I believe is the family friend who leaked the audio, which is a woman named Virginia. The third person in this audio clip sort of acts as the moderator between Danielle and Jen. So in the audio clip, you can hear Danielle's mother Jen whining about how Danielle is a bad daughter and how she's upset that Danielle doesn't stand up for her online against allegations that Jen is a bad mom. She mentions that Danielle behaves badly towards her, even though she's allowed her to do a lot, including live with her boyfriend and have an abortion. I agree with Virginia's perspective in the audio. In the audio, you can hear Virginia talking about how Jen is being cruel to Danielle, because she often says derogatory comments about Danielle's abortion and allows too much personal information about Danielle to be released to the internet. I believe there were rumors that Danielle had an abortion earlier in 2020 before this audio was actually leaked, especially because Danielle has a tattoo on her rib cage of angel wings and a date, which we now know is the date that Danielle got the abortion, and she said she got the tattoo to cope. As I said, the audio was leaked by a family friend. According to a Twitter thread by Deaf Noodles, Jen and Virginia, Virginia being the family friend, both contacted CPS, which is Child Protective Services, on each other. Then in the aftermath of that, Virginia decided to publicly leak the audio of Jen, Danny, and herself talking about Danielle's abortion. I myself have worked with children that were involved with CPS and had a CPS case manager. Their case information is always highly confidential and is never publicly available. So I think Virginia had obviously every right to call CPS on Jen if she was concerned about Danielle's well-being, but I think it's disgusting that she thought it was okay for her to leak this information publicly. Abortions and pregnancy are often traumatic and stressful for adults to deal with, so it is beyond cruel to release that private information about a minor. I don't believe that Virginia was really protecting Danny by leaking this information. I think it's further harming her. In response, Danielle made a video in July 2020 speaking about her abortion. In the video, she insists that her mother didn't know and wasn't involved in the process, that she actually told her a couple months after the fact. By leaking this audio, Danielle was opened up to criticism and hate from strangers online about something that is traumatic and private. No woman or abortion-having person, especially a child, should have to give the public reasons for why they made a choice for their own life, their own body, and their own health. I want to give Danielle a lot of credit here. In the video, she was very open about the process. She was very informative and incredibly supportive to others who have gone through similar traumas. But the point is that Danielle never should have had to talk about it unless adult Danielle decided to talk about what she had gone through. As of September 2020, there was an open CPS case involving Danielle and her mother. If you know anything about CPS, you know that cases are often open for a few years and they monitor it. So I'm sure they're still monitoring Danielle and her mother. The system often fails, but I hope that if Danielle is in danger, if her well-being is in danger, or if she's being exploited by her parents or guardians, that she will be supported and helped by professionals. But I wish that the online community didn't know about her personal problems because it's none of our business. It is harmful when traumatic and personal problems are amplified and published on social media, especially without your consent or the person who experienced the trauma's consent. I get that there are a lot of people online, similar to me, who are just concerned for Danielle since she is a child, but I wish her private information was kept private because she does deserve privacy, and to only talk about traumatic things when she wants to, if she ever wants to or is ready to. In my opinion, Danielle has been constantly harassed and bullied into talking about personal, private issues in her life. I worry the most for Danielle out of all the young influencers I included in this video because she's so young and she is being raised questionably, in my opinion, and people online have been so cruel to her, even worse than Charli or MaK. This conversation or issue isn't really black or white to me. There are a lot of nuances and gray areas that need to be considered when thinking about talking about it or talking about this issue because it is such a serious and sensitive issue. On the one hand, I want children, or anyone for that matter, to have the ability to explore their passions. For instance, when it comes to life with MaK, it's obvious that she was incredibly passionate and really loved ASMR, which prompted her to create her channel. So I would never want to be the person to say that should be taken away from her and have her platform completely taken away. They should not be punished for the behavior or actions of adults being being creepy or sexualizing them. Like, if an adult is sexualizing them, it is not the minor's fault in that situation. All the blame needs to be put on the adult, and the conversation should not be about the child's behavior, but it should be about the adult. But I also fear that these children are so young to be having like basically full-time careers, and I fear that the online environment is too toxic and damaging for children to participate in it, especially unmonitored. It seems that there is an expectation, at least in the Western world, for children, like young children, like 10, 11, 12 years old, to post like these sexy videos on TikTok and YouTube, which are extremely popular websites. And many children who are posting on these platforms aspire to grow an audience. I feel really uncomfortable as an adult myself with the premise of children posting and lip syncing to more mature songs and dancing seductively. I don't even want to say that because they're children. Furthermore, I can't imagine how damaging it is for young children to receive hate comments or unjustified criticism on their videos or their content. I always feel like the safety of children need to be the first priority of just anyone. There is such a huge capacity for exploitation online for children that there needs to be in turn measures like removing comments on videos containing children put in place to protect them from undue harm. But I never want to overcorrect and prevent children from controlling their lives, paths, and passion. I think that the best the public can do is look at things on a case-by-case basis, and please, adult creators like friggin' Perez Hilton and Keemstar, stop making cruel and exploitative content about the personal lives and drama of children. So that's it for this video. I would love to hear your own thoughts, as it is a very complex issue. So let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I'll see you next time.